Hello and welcome back to the Schooner Pod. We are here today to recap Oklahoma's 24-17 win over the Auburn Tigers to advance to 4-0 overall and 1-0 in SEC play. I'm your host, Bobby Howard. With me today, we've got James Maxwell, Ty Lee, and folks, this was a game that I think, not like ideal, not perfect. I think the version of this game we had dreamed up in our heads of, the matchup advantages, all of that, it didn't quite pan out to fruition. It was a bit of a battle, but overall, you got to be really pumped about this one. This is a game OU would have lost in previous years.
Yeah, you got to be happy. This is SEC ball, and I feel like a lot of OU fans, we are conditioned to dooming when we're really bad, like last year, or whenever we're good and we have optimism. It is like perfection is the only way. We're in the SEC now. We're not playing West Virginia every other week. We're playing a team where if you go out and it's ugly, things go your way, you get lucky and you get a win, you say, awesome, I'm going to learn from it next week and see what happens.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, right, it's a win, and it wasn't perfect, but that's college football. And we went to the SEC to play games like this. This is why we moved to this conference. And we didn't move to this conference to lose games, but we also did not expect that we were going to be, having some of our better years in the Big 12 where other people are having down years, and we were just blowing people out and then losing to double-digit underdogs because we slept on them every year. Like, we moved to this conference to play games like this. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about this game and what happened in it, and we're going to dive into a lot of that from the OU perspective here. But these are the games that we came here to play. It was a entertaining game. You had to pay attention to the very end, which is, some would argue, the ideal thing. Maybe some others needed to pop a little aspirin after that, get their blood pressure down. Not medical advice, but it was a win for the Sooners. So what more can you ask?
So you're saying that people should be taking aspirin prophylactically, Ty?
Anyways, I agree, though. It was definitely a game that, it was a war. But these sort of things are, that's the SEC for you. It was a tough game. And I think overall, I came away, not to kind of pull off the little Brian Russillo meme here, but I actually came away more impressed with Auburn and Jackson Arnold after this game. Like, I feel like the Tigers defense looked pretty good at times. I feel like, obviously Arnold was pressured a hell of a lot. You had a, a school record tying performance with 9 sacks because one of the sacks got taken away. But
lame.
Overall, I agree, it is lame. But overall, I feel like, especially Cam Coleman, who was just awesome in this game. I don't know. I think this Auburn team, they're not a bunch of scrubs, so you got to give them credit.
Yeah, we talked about this team in the preseason and what they have at the wide receiver position, and I think people knew it. People know that Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton are absolute ballers, but Cam Coleman goes out there and makes a statement. Only 3 catches, but his performance left a mark on everybody who watched that, whether you're an OU fan or not. This is a guy that we should be looking at for the rest of the season and then to next year, and then he's going to be a first-round draft pick. I'm not concerned in the slightest about Oklahoma's secondary because of the way that the 2 really good wide receivers, maybe one of the best duos in college football, did to us whenever we left them on islands, and we really focused on making Jackson Arnold's life hell.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of, in some ways, their game plan is just on offense because the running game wasn't working, and Jackson Arnold was getting just the hell beat out of him. So the plan was, screw it, Cam Coleman down there somewhere, and you just chuck it up to him and let him cook on poor Cortland Guillory, who, frankly, I don't think you can blame much on this. He's a true freshman.
And he was in single coverage. Like, that's what's going to happen whenever you stack the box and you rush the quarterback and you get 9-10 sacks. Like, it is a give and take. Whenever you have really good players, sometimes Cam Coleman will give, and sometimes Oklahoma's defense will take and put them in at 2nd and 19.
Yeah, and I'd like to remind people too, we said it, pretty much everyone else in the media also said it, is OU will give up some big plays here and there. Obviously, We didn't want that to happen. It felt really bad when it did. But frankly, if I go back and if you told me there were 3 defensive plays that I could fix one thing to change, I probably wouldn't fix any of those big explosive plays to those receivers. I mean, that's not tackling Arnold, going out of bounds, like a dropped interception that was an incomplete. Like there's a lot more to pick apart on this defense that was frankly very, very good. This Auburn offense is going to continue to get better because you go watch some of the film. Their receivers are absolute dogs. And Arnold has obviously taken a massive step forward from when he was in a Sooners jersey. But you go watch some of the film, and we got away with some stuff, potentially some first downs here and there, with Jackson Arnold just not even bothering to look across at the other side of the field where a dude was wide open. So, yeah, secondary, young, but again, was part of the game plan. We expected to give some of that up, and you have to have a bend, don't break defense. And I think one of the key things that we saw was OU's defense's ability to, sorry, it's been a long day, to sort of tighten up as we got farther down the field. That ability to, once we got on our side of the field, to really lock in and spread out the defense and shut that explosive play down. There's a reason that 2 of those explosive plays came when they were right backed up against their own goal line, which obviously sucked, but it was an excellent performance. There's not a whole lot to criticize with that. The young cornerbacks in that secondary.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple bombs, and that was really kind of it in terms of, like you said, you had a couple explosive plays, you had a couple situations where Arnold leaked out on 3rd or 4th down and, was able to get a first down. But, outside of that, the running game was non-existent, outside of a long run that, kind of should have been a tackle in the backfield, and it just kind of busted. But, I thought the Sooners defense was just insanely good on 3rd and 4th. Auburn was 3 of 15 on 3rd, 1 of 9 on 4th. So just an excellent job of getting a team off the field. And again, this is a team obviously with some offensive talent, but also Hugh Freeze as one of the better offensive kind of head coaches out there. So Sooners defense, you got to feel pretty damn good about.
Dude, this defensive scheme was awesome. It was so damn good. Like, you say Jackson Arnold got away a couple times. You know how many times he wanted to? Like, what? Like, so he got 9 sacks, but how many times total did he run in this game? He ran 20 times. And how many of those did I really feel like, damn, Jackson really got away from us? 2? Maybe? 2, 3? Like, that is really damn good for a quarterback that was cooking defenses before this. And he did it last year, too, in some of the games, where it's like when he gets his legs going, it really makes the defense uncomfortable. And we completely schemed it out. The Jackson Arnold plays were completely schemed out. And the only way that Auburn was moving the ball was, that big Jeremiah Cobb run game and then some Cam Coleman big catches. And you'll take that as an Oklahoma defense. And this game has no reservations for what I think about this Oklahoma defense going forward. Like, some people will try to nitpick and try to say, oh, this team could have a really good defense, but XYZ might not be as good. No, this was a damn good performance. And I feel really good going into SEC play that even if our offense is a little bit one-dimensional, we can lean on our defense just like the old Oklahoma teams leaned on their offense and win games that way.
Yeah, I think another thing to point out too regarding the scheme, and I'm going to say first that this is, 1, the nature of college football, and this is 2, a good thing because it's something that can be coached and worked on. But if you go back again and look at some of the excellent creators on YouTube that do film breakdowns and everything now, the defensive scheme was absolutely locked on lockdown. And everything that we gave up was a very fixable but mistake by an individual player. And that's just the nature of college football. I'm not going to blame anyone or say that someone's not good or shouldn't be on the team or whatever. Everyone on this defense is tremendous. The scheme was there and the guys executed it to perfection. Most play, like there's 3-4 plays right here and there. You're going to give up yards. There's like 3-4 plays here and there where there was a big mistake. Easily coachable, easily fixable, stuff that can get tightened up as we go through the season. Again, it's the nature of college football. It's going to happen. Like, no reason to call out guys for, not following through on a hit, right? Was a massive, massive third down for us, and letting Arnold, continue to be a smart runner. That's just kind of an unfortunate rule thing as well, because that you have to back off there anyways, especially when it's a quarterback. So it's right. He needed to execute that hit, but if you go back and look at the actual scheme, we were absolutely dialed in. And this is going to be a season low on points for this Auburn team, unless they have, some tremendous injury or something. Hopefully they don't. But yeah, the execution was really the only thing. And again, nature of college football and stuff that is tremendously fixable. No one was looking like they didn't belong on that field. It's, people were looking young. People were looking like maybe they're facing guys that are going to be in award ceremonies at the end of the season, potentially. Particularly Auburn's receivers, but no one looked bad. It just looked like a very, very, very solid college football defense that is, really still facing some of its first tests of the season. Obviously, they have 2 very easy games coming up, and then we get into the tough games after Red River. But there's excellent defensive performance.
I mean, they looked like one of, if not the best defense in the country yesterday, and it could have been better too. Like a couple dropped interceptions that really could have been
one where he dropped.
I know
out off. He was like he did it too early. He knew it coming way too early, and that would have been awesome. Peyton Bowen was one of the better defenders out there too, Bobby. And he could have even been even better. We had 2 interceptions just mistimed.
Yeah, and you can't fault him for it too much. You can't fault him for it too much, but it's one of those like, this could have been real, like something else. On defense. It was a great performance, but it could have been like a mind-blowing one with a couple turnovers.
We do need to ask, particularly when we had several just insane opportunities in this game alone, and we've had several insane opportunities in the previous games. Are we under some sort of curse where we just will never get a turnover this season? Because we're going beyond, bad statistical bad luck here with not getting turnovers. I feel like we've sacrificed, we made a deal with someone, maybe we made a deal with like the ghost of Baker's Heisman statue or something like that.
What do you think Grinch would say about this defense?
0 out of 10, no turnovers.
Yeah.
Not fast enough. Not speed D.
Oh man, it'd be angry. And like the thing is, like, if we don't get a turnover versus Kent State, it's just gonna be the same story versus Illinois State and versus Temple of just people playing conservative versus D. Like, you cannot play aggressive versus us, because if you hold the ball too long as a quarterback, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. So you just gotta dink and duck, and those are plays like that will be the way to beat Oklahoma's defense. And those aren't plays really that get picked off or turned over or fumbled.
Yeah. That's true. You're minimizing your risk, and you kind of have to, or else bad stuff happens. That OU defensive line overall, by the way, unbelievably good.
It's ridiculous.
It's one of the best units we've had on that front since the Tommy Harris days. Gerald McCoy. Like even then, the level of depth is just mind-blowingly good.
What puts it over the top, Bobby, is the IMG boys with David Stone and Jaden Jackson.
Mm-hmm. They're unreal. They're so good.
The crazy thing about the D-line, and this is such a casual take because everyone saw this. Like, you saw this if you watched the ESPN highlights, but looked like legitimately one of the best D-lines in the nation. Arguably, both teams look like they had some of the best D-lines in the nation. We'll get into that here in a second. But OU's D-line looked like we had one of the best D-lines in the nation for the entire first half. And then R. Mason Thomas comes out on his second play and is just wide open. You can see the sack, does that little sort of jump for style at the end to jump down like a, I don't know.
Man was hungry. He was waiting. He saw people eating appetizers at the table, and he said, "I'm coming for the entree.
Yeah,
I'm the finisher, baby."
Yeah, he got
dessert time. He's taking a whole blooming onion.
Yeah, he got half his recess taken by the teacher, and he was just chomping at the bit. He was ready. The second he could get to that swing set, he
went straight for the 4 square. He's like, "I'm running this."
Dude, that was awesome. And it's like, and honestly, what it comes down to is like the ends are so fun. Like, you get like, R. Mason, who is just like we always say, like the NASCAR guy coming around the edge, so hard to block. And then Taylor Wine is just so like he's so sound. He just does the right thing every single time. But what makes it so hard to play against our defensive line is our interior. Like the pressure that we can get from the interior is not a usual in football in general. Like what Grayson Halton, David Stone, and then Jaden Jackson as a nose, like you can kind of go a little D-tackle nose, is unbelievable. It just pushes the defense to the outside and gives the defensive ends plenty of room to cook.
Yeah, it's the perfect makeup, and you cannot give enough credit to Brent Venables, to the defensive staff, Todd Bates, Miguel Chavez, who have just put together an unbelievable unit, that rivals some of those units you saw at Clemson, some of the best D lines in the past 10 years. By the end of this season, I think there's a good chance we're talking about that unit as one of the best out there. It's so damn good.
Let's play a game. I'm gonna name people on Oklahoma's defensive line, and you tell me if they're gonna get drafted, yes, and then what day of the draft are they gonna get drafted? Because like legitimately, I think there's a lot of them. I think R. Mason Thomas. I know the build on him is some NFL teams may want someone bigger, but the talent's there. Like, is he getting drafted? That's an easy yes, right? What do you think is like a day 2 probably from there?
Yeah, probably day 2, just given the physicals, that sort of deal. But
and then just playing the other like defensive end position, like Marvin Jones Jr. Like, I think he could get drafted in a perfect world just by the measurables that he has too.
Oh yeah. And I mean, he was a much ballyhooed recruit and just kind of never put it together. And it seems to me like transferring to OU, where you have that instruction, it looks he looks different than he has in previous seasons at previous stops. Yeah. He's definitely gotten better, and there's more time to learn. But I could definitely see him being one of those, like kind of awesome success stories, and that just helps you in recruiting down the line.
And Jane Jackson, David Stone, I think next draft, not this coming, but the following, I think they can be day 1. If they keep this up, they could straight up be day 1 picks, which is
getting another year of both of those guys. So nice.
It's ridiculous. So we've named 4. I think just going down the line, I think Dominic Williams could be a day 3. With what he has. Taylor Wine is continuing to show out. If he stays around, becomes a journeyman, I'm sure someone would take a chance on him. Grayson Halton, you never know, could be a day 3. Danny Okoye and what he could be. Like, how many people did I name right there? 7? Is that 7 people that I just named? 8?
Yeah.
I think crazy. And then PJ, who knows with PJ too? I think that's like 8 or 9 guys I just named right there that are possible, like in consideration to get drafted. That is something that we have not talked about for a long time at OU, and the talent that we have there and the depth is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's special.
Well, and you get that. I mean, it's the saying doesn't exist because of D lines in college football, but the saying that a rising tide, raises all boats. It's once you got like even one dude that's just known to people as an absolute beast on the field, like an absolute dog that's going to give your O-line fits, then you're having to kind of plan around that, and then everyone else, even if they're not on the day 1 of the NFL draft standard yet, or maybe they don't have that potential just because of, again, their hard stats and size and weight and stuff. It's like, what are you going to do? If you have even one of those dudes, it can make a team be insane to plan against, particularly when you have guys that can just on their own get through double coverage and back into the backfield and blow stuff up. And then when you layer that with other guys that like teams would, so many teams in college football would love to have 2 dudes on their D line that could get talked about as like, yeah, maybe he'll go day 2 or 3 in the draft. Like that would be a very, very good D line in most of college football. The fact that you can argue, OU's guys that are rotating in and out, like, coming off the bench and argue like there's probably maybe more than one day 2 of the draft guys in that rotation even, perfect world, but it's just insane depth. And that is, again, I've tempered my expectations after this game, but Clemson's national championship teams, when they had Brent Venables as a defensive coordinator, were built around the D lines. That is his specialty, and
In the
we are
trenches,
seeing
baby.
it. And it takes a while. It takes a while to grow those big boys up there in the trench. And we're just now hitting our stride there. And again, success breeds success, especially in college football right now, where you can bag out people to transfer. We can be tampering our butts off at wherever we want to with D linemen. And we can continue to recruit really well and retain really well, which is a big thing in college football now. These D linemen, if we continue to show success, and that makes everything else easier. It makes it so much easier when your D line is a monster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was really proud of him. I'm really, really proud of this defense. And I understand, like, I think we can kind of transition into like some of the penalties that we got away with as a defense. Bobby sent me a text at halftime saying how I'm feeling. I said something to the fact that I feel really good that we're getting lucky, because or else we'd be dooming. There were a lot of plays that we got bailed out on. Like that pass interference was bad. It was really bad. The ref was right there to see it. Like, we were there early. It was bad. That bang play that could have been a fumble, like, that one 50-50 chance that could have been us being in a 7-0 hole to start the game. And then obviously the sideline play. I mean, all of these things that could have gone a different direction went our way, and that's legitimately sports, gambling, whatever. Sometimes perfect things will go your way and you get the perfect recipe.
I mean, you need breaks for anything. You know, the Thunder's championship run doesn't happen without breaks. Even the best teams need luck. Hell, look at the 2000 team. You know, there are a couple just miracle plays. It wasn't all, you know, Red October dominance and beating Nebraska and all that. You know, you had to have a miracle comeback at Texas A&M with the Torrance Marshall interception and, you know, all the weird stuff that happened in that game. Oklahoma State, you survived like this really tight, weird game in Stillwater that nobody talks about. Like, every championship team and every good team goes through that. So to me, it's one that you don't apologize for, because you won the damn game. As some Auburn fans are like, oh, if you're an OU fan, you sure don't feel good about that one. No, I feel great about it. What are you talking about?
I feel good. I'm not going to brag too much about, like, you know, the win itself and that we clobbered Auburn. It was a damn good game and it was close. There were some times I felt pretty dang nervous in there, but that's football for you.
Yeah. And not only that, but, you know, regardless, Auburn had the opportunity to win the football game. Like, they took the lead. You know, they had a chance to stop OU and win the game. And then they had a chance to drive down the field and win the game after that. And they didn't. And that's the sport. Sometimes you get some bad breaks. It sucks. I totally get it. But I personally don't think it was a robbery by any means. But there were some pretty brutal calls that, you know, if they went the other way, you know, if we were doing an Auburn podcast right now, we probably wouldn't be very happy about it.
The PI one would be the one I was the most mad about, probably. Because the other two, I can see arguments. Like, I can see, like, okay, like did Truly Satania say, I'm staying on the field? You talk to the ref about it, cool. And then, like, the bang play with the bobble, I get that with the fumble. But that pass interference was like a second early, so I would have
like full ass tackled him. They still scored a touchdown on that drive, though. So, you know what I mean? If anything, they just did it in in more time. So.
I'm trying to, I don't know. I don't want to get conspiratorial. I'm trying to think of the right way to word this, because I do think it's good content, and I haven't seen anyone say this. And you guys are going to get defensive at first when I mention this, but please, this is, I think, a reasonable question that can lead to some good discussion. We absolutely knew or should have known that we were right on the edge of the rules, potentially, with that touchdown pass where he was walking to whatever.
Of course we knew what we were doing.
Okay, so but that leads me into my question then. Is it maybe potentially alarming that week 4 and like the first half of like the very early part of the game against a team that we're supposed to beat at home, we feel the need to pull that one out?
No, because I bet you Arbuckle's got a bunch of crazy stuff that he's going to continue to throw each game. I think
is he now that we have the conference coming out and releasing a statement saying that was the wrong call?
Well, we beat anyone else to doing it. What if Ole Miss would have done it again? They did it in 2023. We already know Lane Kiffin did it once. So what if they'd have done it again and we couldn't have done that play and because the officials were keen on it?
It was a new point of emphasis that the SEC officials really locked in on in the offseason. So kind of a newer thing, but I guarantee you OU's not going to be able to do that again this season because for a fact the refs are going to be keyed in on it.
Yeah, if you're scheming, you got to do it early.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, do it now before, like you said, before Lane or whoever does it. And then this controversy was going to happen to some team at some point. So better end at OU getting 7 than not.
I worry that maybe we have some offensive decision-making issues. I mean, it's not a single point of failure.
Our offense is not perfect, if that's what you're getting at. I mean,
I don't think our offense is very good. I don't know that our offense is necessarily even that good.
We've got some players that can go out there and make plays, but I think our offense right now is too one-dimensional. That defenses will attack us, and we will have to get a little bit fancy with it. We tried to run touch passes and reverses and get people on the edge because we did not have a run game, and those did not work either. And it makes things a little bit dicey, and a lot of old scars start to open up whenever you start running those plays and they don't work. But whenever it comes down to it, is what I saw in this game is the first half, we saw Arbuckle try to run the ball a lot and for second down, and it was not working. And he said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to run the ball less. I'm going to pass the ball more. I'm going to add a little bit more wrinkle to my passing game. And our offense looked had better flow. And we know that John Mateer is the type of guy, if you put the ball in his hands and you need to go out and make him a play, he's going to do it. He's going to lead a great drive, just like that Michigan drive, that 16-play drive that ended in like a 21-yard field goal to shut out Michigan at the end of the game and put all that time off the clock. He can go and do that thing.
Yeah, no, and I think you feel great about that more than anything. When it's time to get down brass tacks and win the football game, they've done it twice. And that is my biggest takeaway for the offense is it might not rack up the most yards, the most numbers ever, but when you need them to win a ball game, they can do that for you. And that's something we haven't had in a couple years. I would even say, kind of at times in the Levy era, I don't know how much you could trust them. I mean, you had the Texas drive, but that's, there are moments where I don't know. I can count on that offense that we saw on Saturday a lot more than those.
Well, it's because your leader as a decision maker and John Mateer to go out there and say, I'm going to put my hard hat on and it's time to get to work. He turns on in the fourth quarter. He's a much bigger competitor than Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a special dude. He's a special dude. And, I thought he finished the game excellently. I think I saw he finished the game. I think it was something like 17 of 18, maybe 16 of 17, for his, in his final sub-odd passes. This is great podcasting. I know, just taking guesses, but it was somewhere in the teens and he had only had one incompletion in that run. So he really locked in, really figured it out. And, you can tell that they have a really good end of game plan, which is such a breath of fresh air, given how many games OU, would just blow. In the Brent Venables era, closing was by far the biggest problem that this team has had, and that seems to be remedied.
Yeah, I mean, again, we won the football game, so that's really all you can ask for. 22 points from the offense. Again, this Auburn team, I think a lot of people have a lot of last season expectations, and like we talked about, if you go back and watch like a film analysis or watch the replays or whatever, this Auburn team is also there's a lot of little pieces that could very easily come together, particularly with Jackson Arnold decision-making and just going through his reads. And he has the talent to get the ball there when he starts doing that. And this could be a dangerous team. So I think there is a lot of expectations about this Auburn defense as well that maybe are baked into what they were last season. And we just haven't really seen them face a whole lot. Yeah, they haven't faced the toughest offense that they're going to face yet.
I think we played our best. like the best like singular defensive player that we played all season by far in Keldrick Falk. Like that dude was an absolute disaster to try to block against, and how long and big he was on the D line.
Awesome.
Like we are at this point where we're going to be continuing to play really good talent, and whenever we fail and you start to see bad things out there, you take it, you put it in your back pocket, and then you look at the game as a whole. Did we do more good things than bad? Yes, that's how we won the football game. And I'm not going to overreact just because I saw a couple of bad things from them. I think the offensive line is something that continues to be a question mark, but whenever it comes down to it, like John Mateer was protected enough to where he was getting the ball where he needed to, and he wasn't getting sacked too much. And I understand the announcers on TV were talking about, oh, he keeps running out too far and really putting the tackles in a bad position. But I think the pass blocking was pretty good from this offensive line, where if you say, hey, our best player is our quarterback, and we go out and win games in the fourth quarter when our quarterback goes out there and make plays, and if our guys can keep them safe enough to be a decent pass blocking offensive line, that's another thing where you can say, hey, this offensive line was a position group I was worried about in the offseason, but at least they're doing one thing good.
Yeah, and I think for me, the offensive line more than anything needs to get healthy. A big conversation point entering this was the health of Michael Fasusi. He got, I believe, 9 snaps according to PFF, which is, not ideal. Totally understand, still recovering from that. But I suppose the good thing more than anything about that is you have like essentially 3 weeks to prep for Texas. You have a bye week, you have Kent State, and then you have the week leading up to the Longhorns.
Yeah, dude.
So plenty of time to rest.
Give all of those guys rest. Give Fasusi. And we've kind of talked about like, why are we giving too many guys rest? Just get them out there. But we talked about Fasusi was in a boot on the sidelines of the Temple game. If you're in a boot right then and there, you're not going to be 100%, whatever the diagnosis was. And so it showed. He didn't play much in this game, and everyone was saying like, oh, he should be able to go. But he went, and then he only played 9 snaps, right? So like calm things down, let it heal. A lot of these are ankle injuries. The same thing goes for Wee Woo right now. Like Wee Woo's got a high ankle sprain. Those typically take like 3 to 4 weeks to heal. You can play on them, but you're not going to be as good. And you showed that this is a guy where if you take a little bit of his mobility away, he's going to struggle. And that sucks whenever your most consistent offensive lineman is not being consistent. So I think that Kent State's a perfect time for right now to kind of get ready. And then Texas is a huge, huge game for, once again, another high stakes game for the public perception of Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's way too early to do a Texas preview or to kind of pivot into that.
Pull up that fair food. Pull up those finalists. We're going another 3 hours tonight.
I've been peeking at those. I'm excited. No, but that's, enormous game. Assuming Texas gets out of the swamp with a win, that's a top 10 matchup.
I think they will.
Probably. You'd like to think so, but yeah.
Did you see Arch Manning and how good he had that run? Man, he was talking some mad game. He really
stared
good.
Down that Sam Houston dude. I tell you what.
Sam Houston might have one of the worst defenses in Division I right now, FBS. We've seen it. Come on.
We watched them week 0. They were awful. Like they're out here getting waxed by Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers. Like that.
And then UNLV just put them in their place too. And we saw what UNLV's team is. I don't know. They worry me too.
UNLV is weird as hell. Anyways, that's sidetracked.
UNLV is coached by Dan Mullen and Vontez Perfect. So it's like they're building some sort of access. They're building like, what if 2008 Florida was just evil and not that good at football is what they're kind of building out there. But I guess we'll see. But I think back to this offense. One, I got to at least burn a few hater takes here.
Of course
he didn't register in the box score. Did Jaden Ott even touch the field?
No, 0 snaps.
Well,
that's 3 games now.
Excellent use of money, OU boosters. I know.
Dude, this dude's gonna freaking red shirt and leave. I think
at this rate. At this rate, yeah, just it's a waste of money and a waste of time to even really think about it at this point. I'm so disappointed. That sucks, but
Honestly, he's a nothing burger for the rest of the season. Like I'm surprised we talked about him this podcast, but I'm not surprised at the same time, just because like this guy's getting.
I wasn't planning on bringing him up. Overall, the running game, obviously a tough one to kind of figure out against Auburn, given what they are. But I don't know. You're gonna have to get a little bit more creative.
Guard named Bobby Jamison Travis.
Bobby Jamison, that is true.
Yeah, they did have a guy named. But I will say on the run game, not a hater take. Two things I noticed. One, Mateer has obviously, again, we talked about that dial that we can turn with his aggressiveness running. I think the dial for running was definitely turned up to the Michigan level. But if you go back and watch his runs in this one, and you go back and watch his runs against Michigan, there clearly were some coaching points given about sliding. He has definitely slid and looked for the out of bounds and looked for the safer runs a little bit more in this one, which I am loving in games like this. One, because we won, right? So we didn't need to go full aggressive and really risk him. But he does worry me when he does that Jalen Hurts or that Baker in college style running, where he's going to go, deliver the hit and try to get that extra yard. He was excellent in that touchdown run, having awareness of where he was and extending. But he obviously, we don't have that dial turned all the way up. So I do feel that if we get into an emergency situation later in the season or something like that, it's definitely something that can be turned up more. We could have seen more from him in this game on the ground. 10 carries, 29 yards in a touchdown obviously is not a whole ton. So again, I saw some people, looking at that run game. Auburn, very, very solid defense, but I don't think that dial was turned all the way up.
You say that emergency thing, Ty. I think that every big game is going to be an emergency needing the quarterback to run, because I don't believe one bit in this running back.
At this rate, it's almost every game. So
there's less, and there's less reason, right, to, like, right now, we don't need to risk because we lose them now, then we're cooked. We're cooked.
Well, yeah,
we're going to get shut out multiple times this season if we lose Mateer now. But
I think the biggest point though is you want quarterback runs to be like a scalpel rather than a meat cleaver. You want him to be smart about it. I think it was definitely, it felt like he was smarter this game than Michigan. He was a little reckless for that one, but it worked. And he's a bigger dude. Like he's not like a little slight Kyler Murray type of guy. He can take a couple licks, but you don't want to use him as a sledgehammer type of quarterback. That's just not who he is. He
was more of a Jackson Arnold, Dylan Gabriel style runner this game, which I like to see from him earlier in the season. Once Texas, whatever. I will say again, because he only got 11 carries, Blaylock I thought was actually fairly solid. I don't like. I don't know. Like you go back and look at that stuff, and when
this dude averaged 1.2 yards per carry.
Yeah, but
it was 11 carries for 13 yards. It's kind of hard to call that.
If you go back and look at it, right, most of those it's an unwinnable situation.
Yeah,
like the second he's touching the ball, it's like the dishes are done, dude. It's too late to get in the.
But also, there's a couple times where he missed some holes. You can tell, like, he's still learning his way. Here's the deal: he hit some holes. Give that to you, Ty. But he's missing some. There are some running backs on this team that don't even know what a hole looks like, and his name is Javonte Barnes. But like
Javonte Barnes gets no play. You heard it here first on the screen. Take that however you wish to take that.
He's a good pass blocker. But
yeah, he had a hell of a block in this game. Someone came right up the middle and just popped him. Ooh, that was nice. Yeah. You'll have one of those a game. But I mean, like, it comes to the point where a lot of fans are saying is like, when are we going to see Xavier Robinson actually go out and do it? When are we going to see that in a big game? He looked pretty decent versus Temple at the end there, and I want to at least just try something different, and especially if it's a physical game, a high time of possession leaning towards Oklahoma type of game. And you can tell that the defense that they're going against is reeling. That's the time you put in Xavier Robinson in the second half. Whenever he just comes in and he's hard to tackle, that's how he made his money last year. And I don't think we've been quite yet in a type of game like that where we just been absolutely dominating the time of possession. So maybe in the future we'll have something like that. and see more Xavier Robinson. But right now, like we had 24 minutes to Auburn's 35. So I don't think that's really a Xavier Robinson like kind of type of game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What do we think about this receiver room? I don't think it was bad. I think Satania was awesome. 9 receptions.
C plus, B minus. I'd say B minus. B minus.
B minus B. I thought it was good. Obviously had a couple issues where could have been a lot worse. But I thought he made big plays when he needed to make them. I think the receiving room in general really needs, Javon Gibson back. We're still kind of waiting on him to return.
Don't expect him to be a freaking all-star in this Kent State game, by the way, but it's going to be fun to add someone else to the receiver room.
Yeah, no, it's just, you need a little bit more firepower. And I think it would be nice to have him and, add him into the mix. Keontez Lewis, it's good to see him back in general. Not the best Burks game. Dropping the 2-point conversion, not ideal. Just not my favorite performance. I thought Kanik was pretty good. Great. Like I love that.
More Kanik is what we need.
It's crazy that we're in a situation where, like, if you told me before the season, it's like, yeah, Kanik had a 4-reception, 62-yard game, I'd be like, oh my god, this is insane. But now it's just kind of old hat where it's like, that was all right from him. But yeah, I mean, shoot, it was at the point where I think I saw on the Todd McShay podcast, they're talking about Kanik as like a guy that could get drafted this year. Like that's wild. His stock has shown up out of nowhere, and I'm just so proud of that guy. He's awesome. His weird little kick thing he did, hilarious.
Yeah, he pressed triangle in the defense. That's that. Whenever I watch that, I'm like, oh god, he's gonna fumble.
Yeah, no, in the game it's an auto fumble, but Kanik got he held on to it fine, and that's what matters. But yeah, no, overall, I'm not overly thrilled with the offense. I thought it was good. It did what it needed to do, which was win the game. But you see the makings of this thing being a really, really good offense, and you just need to tighten some spots up. You need the offensive line to get healthy.
Really, really good offense.
Pretty good.
A good enough offense to win you football games next to an elite defense is where I'm at right now. I don't know if a good offense is where we're at right now.
That's fair. Yeah, just because of the running game being what it is. But, I feel like this might be the case every year. I feel like the running backs always start off slow and then figure it out as it goes on. I think last year, like Xavier Robinson wasn't really a thing, and then he became a thing.
So who's going to become a thing?
I don't know.
Taylor Tatum.
Taylor Tatum. Hopefully he gets healthy.
Yeah, it gets fully healthy. I know Ty would like to see that.
Kanik. I'll tell you guys what. I don't want to turn this into an argument pod. So it's if anyone listened to the Schooner Pod in 2022, you will know the amount of hate that is behind me saying this. But I wish we still had Gavin Freeman in this receiver room because he would be WR2 behind Kanik.
Gavin Freeman had some good catches in the Oklahoma State game, but I mean, I think that you're being too hater. I think there's a part of Ty. I think that you need hate in your life somewhere, whether that be from the Oklahoma team, and you watch the game looking for something.
You're gonna make me explain this now, and people aren't gonna like it.
So don't explain it, please.
Yeah, just don't.
You can't, right? 2 plays, 14-point swing on just getting bailed out by the refs, and then 30 yards showed some
things that are scary. I get that.
30 yards in penalties because you don't understand how to bump a dude on a route as a senior with 4 years of SEC play. You don't understand how to bump a dude without looking like you're going egregiously out of the way and just targeting a guy. Like it was.
I didn't think that was a very good pick play. I didn't love that call.
The first one is maybe if you go watch the second one, he takes 3 steps out of his way, staring at the Auburn dude to veer into it. Like the second one's like actually egregious.
I will say this:
the second one looked like Draymond Green in the NBA.
Some pick plays are meant to be really bad, and just hope the ref doesn't see them, and you just take the penalty if it doesn't work.
Yeah. And that's kind of how
Burks was open already.
It's tough.
I get your argument on those. Tanya showed some things where like he has had some high highs and some low lows. Like that catch that was like hit out of his hands after he took like 3 steps was a really hard catch to make. He had some, and that was like, that was probably one of the best plays we had on offense.
Are you talking about the out of bounds one, or are you talking about the one they returned for a touchdown in the ref?
No. The
out of bounds one.
Okay. Just to clarify.
I'm saying that was a hell of a catch.
I don't want Auburn fans to clip this.
And made a football move, went out of bounds, and then it was just hit whenever he went out. Like that was just a lucky punch. Like that dude had control and he made that catch. That was really good. But I get it. Like he's muffed punts and like he's done some things that are a little bit scary and he's a little volatile. But at the same time, having a weapon like him in the passing game, whenever you're worried about the weapons that we do have, like we're making a lot of money right now in the short and intermediate range. And he's a guy that can go out there and be a little bit of a deeper threat in a longer big play thing. We don't have a lot of those right now to where we can say, I feel very confident and very good that we do have a guy like that.
Yeah. You make peace with that. It's worth the trade-off.
I do worry about some execution because here was my last little point. And I promise it's not actually too hater. There is a way to execute that go wide out on the sideline play that Auburn fans are freaking out about, where there's no way to question that it's not motion, right? Like it's like an acting thing. Like you run out there and look like you're running out to, go wider. And that was not what he was doing. So I do question
we knew what we were doing,
his acting skills. I know we knew what we were doing as a call wise, but there's a player execution angle to that as well that makes it.
He sold it.
So, and I think the key to that entire thing was the check-in with the ref. He was right by that ref. He did what all receivers do, where checks in, I'm on, I'm off, that sort of thing. Letting it you know if you're on or off the line of scrimmage. He checked in. Ref didn't have any issue with it, and the play went on. But the league office obviously saw that as feigning an exit, had their statement on it, and I guess it's something where that ref didn't apply it correctly, but the ref should have told him, looks like you're trying to leave. You can't do that.
The ref dropped the ball. On that one. Hey, we did a play. Once it's the same thing like a pick play almost. Same argument. We go out there. If it works, it's awesome. If not, you get penalized. And then you go after it again with the hole. But 35-yard touchdown or whatever, that is a play that you'll take a risk on it.
Yeah. Yeah, tiptoeing the rules. That's just the case with a lot of sports. When you're playing offensive line, you can hold if you go high and tight, but the second you get out, you get caught with it. You get your hand caught in the cookie jar, or playing defense in basketball. It's how much can you give, before the ref starts kind of noticing on some stuff. That's just part of the flow. It might tick people off. It might not seem right.
I'll say this is a little bit different because this is more scheme. But I get what you're saying. There's always a little bit of gray. I think as an Oklahoma fan, the right way to take this is we tried to game the game and we did it. We succeeded. That was great for us and the result is awesome. But when it comes down to that was dirty, but so what? We won the game. And sometimes you just got to tooth and nail it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to clarify, my take was not that everyone is looking to skirt the line in football. That's part of it. My take is it just seems like every time we get caught doing it, even though everyone's doing it, it's one dude.
Well, I mean, I can't say that like the fumble situation or the lack of, completing that catch, that's not specifically his fault. Like he wasn't gaming the system. He just caught the ball and his butt hit the ground and didn't complete the pass. It's just
because he was juggling. It was just because he was juggling it on the catch.
We're going a little long. We don't need to start nitpicking. I'm going to have better tape later in the season to justify this. I just want to get this out there. So
you just know it. You're just waiting for him to screw up so you can go.
Red River, in Red River, we're still going to win. But anyways, don't want to
hate in your soul, Ty.
I will say in general, we need to clean up the turnovers.
Of course, we
got to. Like the Mateer fumble, on that I don't even on that exchange. It's just that could have been a killer. OU was driving. It was a great situation. To really
It was a
bury 'em, and
killer.
just
Really,
didn't.
it put us in a position where we could have scored, and we wouldn't have to worry about being down in this game in the fourth quarter.
It took the air out of the game entirely.
You know what we do? You know what we do need to talk about? That's an overwhelming positive and a massive improvement. And we kind of touched on it there. Special teams.
You like that Tate Sandell long field goal where it looked bad, but it went through the uprights. I mean, that made me happy. I'll take it. But it did scare me the way it looked. But his short kicks look good. And the punter, man. Are you talking about the punter? Yeah. Backup punter. You were a hater on Kennesaw State beforehand, so great. Let's bring in UCO transfer.
Grayson Miller,
Look, he did it. And on the other side as well, right? Like, absolutely, obviously they bobbled that one. What was his name? Hudson Cock was his name? Yeah. Bumbling that one, and then us getting down there. Like, one of Grayson Miller's punts, the Auburn guy still, cannot comprehend why he chose to do this, but caught it instead of letting it go through the end zone, brought it back into the end zone, and then out to get tackled. At
the dude caught it over his shoulder. He committed two wrongs as your punt returner. Inside the 10, X. Over your shoulder, X. Like, what? That dude got. Today, he watched film. Today, he probably went out and ran bleachers too. This poor guy has got absolutely worked.
When that happened, I said out loud, "That's the most Auburn thing I've seen in my life," and I didn't realize there was an Auburn fan in front of me who turned around and said, "Yeah, it is."
I don't think I'd be ashamed to say that next to an Auburn person either.
He was wearing like black and white, it was like a black Auburn hat with like a white shirt.
On.
So from the back, he looked like he was just kind of like generic.
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I understand that that could be your only Auburn shirt. Let's just throw that away. What are your thoughts on fans wearing neutral colors, but the logo still on there? If I'm going in enemy territory, I'm wearing my red. I'm not wearing my white polo.
So yeah, it was a white polo with a little colored Auburn, like colorized Auburn, and then the hat was like a black hat with it. You got it.
He was wearing a shirt or orange. That's what his team was wearing.
But I agree on that. I think you got to go blue or orange. You got to establish yourself in enemy territory. You got to go all in on that.
So was Auburn committing sort of borderline rule infringements by masking fans in the stands? Did Auburn buy up a bunch of student section tickets and then leave to make it seem like we were leaving the student section?
So, I don't want to go on a student section rant because I think the people who stayed were great. Anyways, I thought the crowd overall was great. It was loud, it was engaged. Watching a tight, good OU football game from front to back is an experience. We don't have a lot of good games, or hadn't had a lot of good games in the past on Owen Field. And if a game was tight, it's usually like we're all pissed off because we're like, why is West Virginia keeping this game close? But now it's like, okay, well, this was supposed to be a good game, of course. So it's a little odd staying late. It's great. I love it. This is what sports are supposed to be. We've lived a very charmed, privileged existence as Sooner fans to be able to leave early. Can't really do that anymore. You got to stick her out. But I will say a note on this because everyone's kind of talking about it on the internet. Auburn fans were great in person. They're delightful. Loved everyone I met. They were very friendly. The internet ones are very dumb.
I think that goes for everything, though. I think most people from the Southeast and the Midwest, they're going to be nice folks whenever you meet them in person. Yeah. But people that are dum-dums and they have an anonymous profile picture online can say whatever they want. There's so many Sooner fans out there that are just absolutely ridiculous. Go out there and just pick fights with people and hide behind the wall. If you want to have an anonymous Twitter account, great. That's awesome. Good for you. But don't go and pick fights behind that wall and just be a troll.
Yeah, that's fair.
I will say, OU fans, you have to remember when you're seeing all this hate from Auburn fans online, they have so much practice being sore losers. They've been practicing this, 8 weeks out of the year for 20 years now, 30 years, 40 years now. So, we won the championship in 2010. You had, Gus Malzahn carrying you to that. But It's like they have so
Pardon?
much experience doing this that it's just was he not the Auburn coach?
No, he was. I just when I think of 2010 Auburn, there's another human being I think about a little bit more.
Yes, and do you know
Cam
where
Newton.
he got? Yeah, you know where he got his championship drive from?
Florida.
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer.
That's right.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
the
So,
second best to ever do it outside of Barry Switzer.
So by association, Urban Meyer actually kind of won 2010.
Urban Meyer actually won. Yeah, does deserve, and that was the joke. There was he carried Gus Malzahn to that championship. So.
Ty is such an Urban Meyer believer. It's unbelievable.
Dude, I'm telling you guys.
I would buy a new pair
next year when Venables is his DC, it's gonna be crazy. Unfortunately, we're gonna be out of money. We're gonna be out of money, so we're gonna have like Trey Young as our OC. So it's gonna be.
God, this dude knows no ball.
Oh, God.
He knows no ball. Please, God, no. This guy knows none.
Yeah, but
he's gonna get one 5-minute call every week with Bob Stoops.
Yeah, it's just a part of the whole Auburn situation, though. That upset about 2004, claiming a bunch of random national titles. Now, like some of them be like, "Oh, we should be undefeated." They should rescind the loss. Who knows how much they're actually
laughable.
They're just silly. They're silly, but they'll move on and take on Texas A&M next.
We got our fans too. Every team in the SEC got our fans like that too. So it's just fun whenever they come out and they fight with each other. Honestly, it's just at that point where it's just a spectatorship. Like you just watch people go after each other.
It's funny. It's funny to watch from the sidelines and not be the focal point of it.
Let's make a fight.
I wanted
Kent State. I swear to God, if you wear the Los Angeles San Diego Chargers helmet again versus us, I will end you. Don't take that.
I think they will.
Your little eagle.
No, if you've looked at their helmets and stuff on NCAA or on college football, they have a lot of those fake Charger helmets. Like that's kind of their main thing now.
No,
just like
I don't want that.
Cease and desist.
Oh, you by 40.
We're gonna destroy you, Kent State. No. We do not need to preview Kent State at all.
We will have nothing to talk about next week if we do that right now.
We will need to come up with some sort of podcast for next week.
It'll be like a little check-in of like what we think about this team. Trust me, it is not that hard for us three to talk about Oklahoma for a decent amount of time to get us an episode.
A check-in or maybe like a brief, do a little brief update of our tiers.
Yeah,
maybe.
where we can throw the running backs down the drain. Yes,
they deserve to be sent to.
Remember whenever I argued that they shouldn't have been an A? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember whenever I said Jay Knott, we are giving too much to. I don't want to be that Captain Hindsight guy, but at the same time, I hate to look at it right now and be like, oh, we put them at an A.
Jay Knott probably watched our video and was like, you know what? I think I am good. I am an A. And then just stopped trying. He achieved all he needed to achieve. He got an A on the Schooner Pod tier rankings. Yeah. Anyways. So excited about this bye week. This is going to be a fun slate, I feel like. So, like the perfect bye week slate with some really good games. We can spread this week's going to be fun. I don't know. I'm pumped.
Yeah, what are our best games out, Bobby?
So, just off the top of my head, you got Alabama, Georgia. You got Oregon, Penn State. It's a banger of a weekend.
Dude, that Oregon Penn State's gonna be fun.
That's
the same. They're the same time. Oh, yeah. Thank God I have 3 TVs.
TCU Arizona State's gonna be a really good one. I feel that's on Friday.
That's Friday. It'll be Friday, 8 o'clock.
Big news: USC, Illinois. Meh.
Oof. Well, how's Illinois still ranked? By the way, that's bad. They are awful. So salty about that. Even like Notre Dame, Arkansas is not going to be very good. I don't think.
I like Auburn A&M. That's going to be a fun game.
That is going to be a good one.
Yeah, there's a lot of good. This is another great Saturday. Honestly,
we say LSU
college football's been serving.
Well, hell, even Colorado. Well, no, Colorado's not very good anymore. I guess Colorado BYU could be interesting as like a fun little late
They
game.
did cover versus Wyoming.
Oh boy. But no, it's gonna be a fun slate. Just kick back and watch. Ty, are you going to that TCU Arizona State game?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Oh, good
We'll
deal.
have a little report from that as well. So
Awesome. Love that. All right, boys. Anything you want to say before we wrap this thing up?
Yep, going to be a fun weekend spread. Can't wait.
Yeah, tune in on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Central to watch us live and make your picks along with us. Always fun show. But Ty,
fun for two of us.
Yeah, I will have to. I have work to do. But, all right. Well, thank you all so much for watching our recap of OU Auburn. We will be back very soon. And y'all have a good week. Enjoy the bye week, everyone. And until then, Boomer Sooner.